There was a recent Google talk or interview, and you said that you don't believe that Gen Z will read a 200-page book just to understand a concept anymore. And I was just curious, because you've written so much, have you had to adapt your writing style or your marketing strategies to align with evolving attitudes and preferences of the younger generation?
All of the above. I mean, there are many, many business books, and they typically take 200 pages to explain one concept, like you do something for 10,000 hours and then you are very good at it. Or let's see, you have to help get from the pioneers and early adapters to Main Street. You have to cross the chasm. And there's books and books like that. And I don't think that Gen Z is going to read 200 pages to get one concept. And so my book is 170 pages, and we counted, there are 88 tactics in that book. So each tactic gets 2 pages. And it's more like it's more like a blog post. And I mean a short blog post, 500 to 700 words. Because I think Gen Z is very perceptive, very smart, and you don't need to hammer on them for 200 pages to just get them to understand one thing.
Yeah. And I think as well, not just Gen Z, but everybody these days, they can take the bones of an idea and deep dive themselves, and they can get so much information so quickly. So it's really a spotlight that they need, as opposed to a deep excavation that people might have needed in the past, and to be fed all the information.
But if I were a publisher, and I am an author, I think it's time to be very concerned that people are not buying books. You used to come out with these management books, and 2, 3, 4, 5 million people would buy them. And I listen, I wish I could say I wrote one of those. I have not, but I think it's more difficult to do that than ever because, well, for one thing, there are so few bookstores. So it's not like you can, sort of go to your neighborhood Barnes and Noble anymore. I mean, there are a few Barnes and Noble, but not like before.
No.
And so independent bookstores are having a hard time. I guess you could go to the airport, but you got lots of things to do in the airport besides shop in the bookstore. And so I think it's harder and harder to get books now. Amazon is clearly there, and you can load it on your phone and all that stuff. But then, that's another whole problem that Amazon doesn't really lead to sort of browsing and in a bookshop and being attractive by the cover and flipping it over and reading the blurbs and saying, oh yeah, this looks interesting, I think I'll pick it up. I don't think people shop like that on Amazon. Now, on the other hand, on Amazon, if you average 4.5 or 5 stars, I mean, that's a pretty good bet that it's going to be in somebody's basket pretty soon.
Yeah. I find the Amazon stars, like Amazon is obviously a remarkable organization, and it's made retail, so convenient for all of us, and put into reach products we wouldn't have been able to source locally and all that. But the rating system on Amazon is just bizarre, because everything seems to get 4 or 5 stars. So if you're on a different platform, at least the rating system makes sense. So if you were looking for a rain jacket and you went on to Gear Lab, for instance, and they gave something, 3.5 stars, it's a reasonable jacket only. But in Amazon, I've stopped looking at the reviews. Sometimes if you read them, you might get some information, but it's too positive, I think.
So basically, everybody should listen to your podcast, and they should buy whatever book and author comes on your podcast. That would be a good algorithm.
That would be a good one.